Now at 6:30 on WKYT this morning. New details on a breaking news alert this morning after a Lexington business has been robbed at gunpoint.
A Kentucky teenager made an emotional appearance in court. He's facing new charges in an alleged weeks-long crime spree.
And we have a lot going on. Winds coming in from the north, that storm system coming in from the south. Those collide and bam, you get some snow out of this. But how much and who gets the most? I'll show you that forecast coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
It's Friday. Good morning and welcome in as we head for the weekend. It looks like some snow heads our way. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Last weekend, taking the dogs to the dog park. A lot of folks were out. But this weekend may be a different story because for the first time this winter, we're actually tracking the potential for some accumulating snow.
Meteorologist Micah Harris breaks down the thread. This is a first alert severe weather day. Micah?
Yeah, and we get those out to you guys about 24 hours out ahead of when we're expecting major impacts, at least some impacts there in the forecast. And here we are. It looks like snow is going to be pouring in later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Current temperatures are in the 30s. It's not helping us out, but still those ground temperatures are pretty warm outside, right around 50 degrees. So it's worked out for us this nice weather the past few days. Few sprinkles southbound, it's not much, but you get the rain actually moving in the next several hours, especially the southern zones. You'll pick up on pretty good amounts of rain and then snow on the backside of that will creep throughout the day. And I think it's late in the day, probably around sunset. That's probably a good bet. Around 5 to 6 p.m., that's when you can start to see that snow mix on in. And then it takes you off into the night, too, and into tomorrow morning. Now, that will start to move on out, but everybody wants to know how much is going to be falling and how much is going to be falling around their house. And I'll show you that forecast with that updated snow total coming up.
All right, see you then. Thank you.
We continue to track a breaking news alert this morning in Lexington. Police are searching for two men accused of robbing a business at gunpoint.
Now, this happened about 5 o'clock this morning since we've been on the air at the Waffle House on North Broadway near the interstate. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel is there live this morning with some new details. Whitney, good morning.
Good morning. We actually just talked to the owner of this Waffle House, which is just off of North Broadway, and he told us that there were some customers inside when this robbery happened. Just after 5 o'clock this morning, two men walked into this restaurant. Police say that one of them showed a gun and the other jumped over the counter and demanded the clerk open the cash register. The two took some cash and then ran away on Judy Lane, which is right next to where the Waffle House is. Police say that one of those men was dressed in all black, the other had a gray hoodie. One was wearing a mask, the other was not. The owner here says that his employees handled the situation very well.
They were cool, calm. They understood what was happening as it was going on. And so I think we go over a lot of training, how to handle these situations. So I think they responded pretty well.
Now, thankfully, no one here was hurt, and the owner also tells us that they do have a good surveillance system, and they'll be giving video of this robbery to police. Live in Lexington, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
We're also tracking some breaking news out of Bell County where state police are on the scene of a murder investigation. They say a woman was found dead inside a home on Old Bell High Road south of Pineville. Police say they found the woman just after midnight. At this point, we do not know how she died or if police are looking for any suspects. Right now, state police have no new information more than we've told you to release, but of course, we'll get you that information as soon as we get it. Also new this morning, we are tracking a crime alert after Lexington police say someone burglarized the American Legion on Man o' War Place. Police say the crime happened sometime overnight and was discovered this morning by a cleaning crew. They say someone ransacked the place, but right now police not sure exactly what was stolen. Well, he served the people of Kentucky for decades, first as lieutenant governor, and then as a United States senator.
And this weekend, Kentuckians will be able to pay their final respects to Wendell Ford, who has died at the age of 90. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Frankfort now with details on the arrangements. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Wendell Ford walked the halls of the Capitol building here for years, first as the lieutenant governor and then as governor. But the man who's being remembered by many as the ultimate public servant will lie in state here in the state Capitol Rotunda from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday and his memorial will be at 3 p.m. Now, the man who is a well-loved political icon died at the age of 90 yesterday morning at his home in Owensboro. In 2014, Ford went through a series of chemotherapy treatments after a malignancy was found on one of his lungs. After Ford served 3 years in the governor's mansion, he went on to become the Democratic whip in the Senate. At one point, he even became the longest-serving U.S. senator from Kentucky. But he won't be remembered by the years he served as much as how he served. The former four-term Democrat was widely respected for faithfully representing his constituents' views. He was also admired by other lawmakers because he didn't have to speak to be heard.
Number one, he listened. He could actually quit talking long enough to listen. And he learned a lot in that way, and he made a lot of things happen because he listened.
Ford's funeral will be at 11 a.m. Tuesday morning at Owensboro First Baptist Church. Live in Frankfort, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Wendell Ford left his mark on the Commonwealth in many ways, one of which can be seen at the University of Kentucky. Eugenia Toma is the Wendell H. Ford professor at UK's Martin School of Public Policy. She got to know Ford well when they worked together at the university. She says Ford and his work will never be forgotten.
Talked with him just a week ago, and we said goodbye of what he symbolized as a politician that I think people long for now.
The collection of Ford's correspondence, papers, and oral histories at UK libraries is closed this morning, and a spokesman says the university will work with Ford's family to see about when to open the collection for research. Now, we have more on Wendell Ford's legacy at WKYT.com, and of course, you can list your remembrances as well.
Well, a Kentucky teenager accused in a multi-state crime spree with his 13-year-old girlfriend is facing several charges. 18-year-old Dalton Hayes was crying when he pleaded not guilty in Grayson County yesterday. He is now charged with statutory rape, theft, and other charges. Police say Hayes and Cheyenne Phillips were on the run for 2 weeks before being arrested in Florida. A Kentucky teacher who was fired and then reinstated after dragging a student down a hallway is now facing some legal trouble. Ashley Silas is charged with a misdemeanor assault. The incident at Bullitt County Elementary School was caught on camera. The principal fired Silas, but she appealed the decision and was allowed to keep her job. Attorneys say it's unlikely that Silas will receive jail time.
A state senator wants his DUI charge dropped based on the Kentucky Constitution that's more than a century old. Senator Brandon Smith was arrested earlier this month in Frankfort on the opening night of the legislative session. Citing an 1891 statute within the Kentucky Constitution, his attorney says the charge should be dismissed. That statute says members of the General Assembly are privileged from arrest during the legislative session, except in cases like treason or a felony. The request didn't sit well with Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Everyone who lives in the state of Kentucky, everyone who lives in the United States should be held accountable if they broke a law.
The Franklin County judge has yet to rule on Senator Smith's request. The Republican represents the 30th district, which covers much of southeastern Kentucky.
Well, police in 4 Kentucky cities say the same man may be behind a string of robberies. 2 of them happened about half an hour apart. Police say a Cash Express in Versailles and a check into cash in Frankfort were robbed yesterday. In both cases, police say the description of the suspects is similar. They think the same person may also be responsible for similar business robberies in Lexington and in Nicholasville. An unusual rescue in Woodford County. A horse got stuck in a swimming pool behind a home. Rescue crews say the horse broke through a fence and tried to walk across the cover of the in-ground pool. The owner of the home woke up, saw the horse in the water, and called for help.
Not knowing what that cover was, walked out on it and fell through. And of course he was in distress and tied up in that cover.
Crews from Woodford and Anderson counties pitched in to help pull the horse out of the pool. A vet says the horse is doing okay.
4 of Kentucky's 5 announced candidates for governor will take part in a forum this morning. Republicans James Comer, Hal Heiner, and Will T. Scott, along with Democrat Jeff Young, are scheduled to attend that forum today at the Kentucky Press Association in Louisville. Democrat Jack Conway will not be attending. He cites a scheduling conflict. Well, a new study is suggesting that smarter people prefer iPhones.
Let's see, what do you have over there? I don't know. Do you have an iPhone?
I do.
I have an iPhone. All right, it's out there. The study by online ad network Shitika found that states with more college grads tend to have higher iPhone sales. Not only that, but those with higher incomes tend to lean towards iPhones as their smartphone of choice. Shitika admits the study is not comprehensive as it focuses on states and not cities or neighborhoods. As I seem to cannot pronounce that word, I don't know if it's holding true for me right now.
It's one of those words that's right on the edge there if you slip,
yes,
you know.
It is. All right, moving along now. Let's see how things are moving on the roads.
Yeah, the time is 6:40. Let's go out to Officer Don with a check on live drive traffic. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. No wrecks right now, and we're okay in the circle in the interstate. That's great news. Let's get a look outside, and we'll show you what's happening as you get ready to head out the door this morning. It's pretty quiet for Friday. The live look at Broadway and High Street. Inbound traffic there looks great. On the north side, no problems either. If you plan to come in from North Broadway, past the circle, and down toward downtown, we're in good shape. On our Waze map, just seeing normal stuff around the city as well. On the circle and on the interstate, just a couple of stalled cars. There's one on the outer loop around Versailles Road, but that is over to the side. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, Don. Thank you so much. Much more news coming up Friday on WKYT. The weekend is on the way now. Coming up on 6:41.
Few people want an up-close encounter with the shark, but when it's this ugly and this old, it's hard not to look.
God, that is an ugly shark. First Alert Defender live radar. We do have some rain down toward the south, and this will all spread northbound. We'll have a lot of rain today, but then it changes into snow tonight. I'll talk about when you can expect that hour by hour coming up next.